Hello and welcome to the Everyday Theology Podcast. This is our series, Everyday Wisdom, and joining me today is Ian Stamps. Hello. Good day to you, Ian.
Hey.
Now, you did say right before this that you would tolerate whatever I do.
I did. This is me tolerating that.
So I'm just going to do.
As you should.
I do.
It makes the podcast sound more intelligent.
Yes, it does. Today we're going to be, no, I don't think it does. Today we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 9 and 10, and we're going to be talking about money. Money. Money matters. And we'll be discussing money matters.
I see what you did there.
I'm going to copyright that.
Yep.
Money matters. What does biblical generosity look like? Those are the questions we'll be discussing, but let me read the text first and we'll get into it. It says, honor Yahweh from your wealth and from the first of all your produce, so your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will burst with new wine. So let's start with that question. What does biblical generosity look like? And go.
I think generosity involves more than money, but at its foundation, it involves money.
Yeah.
So honor the Lord with your wealth. There's obviously a money financial component to that. For them, it's agricultural. It's with your produce. For us today, it would be with your paycheck, with your investments. So there is definitely a financial component, but generosity extends beyond money as well. So it's not less than that. It's more than that. To time, to your possessions, to your emotions even, to a posture of...
Can't believe you went there.
Living.
I don't know, I'm just kidding.
A posture of living a lifestyle that is positioned outward, that wants to help, is ready to help, and will do whatever it takes to help. I think that is biblical generosity.
So with that being said, we're going to be talking about money and how can we honor Yahweh from our wealth. This matters. This is a theme throughout Scripture. You can't avoid it. I know it makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Yep.
And it really is. It really is something that when you think about surrender to the Lord, money is usually one of the last things to go. One of the last things that we give to the Lord and realize, wow, like this actually does matter. And so some biblical principles to think about in regards to this is that God owns everything. Yeah. It all belongs to Him, the earth and all of its fullness. And so, and we are those who will give an account for whether we were faithful. And so we are meant to be good stewards. And good stewardship and generosity are tied very much together. God has given us everything we have to do. I think Ephesians 2:10, we are God's masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus to do the good things He planned for us long ago. And there's some passages. We'll go to 2 Corinthians 9 here in a bit to discuss that. But God has given us, because He owns everything, He's given us what we have to provide for our needs, and to be able to give and to care about His kingdom, to seek His kingdom. And Jesus said it, I think definitively, you cannot serve both God and money. One is going to be your master. Yeah, you have to choose. And so I think, so let's just continue to talk about that because we see here this promise of blessing. So if you give from the first of all your produce, so your barns will be filled with plenty, your vats will burst with new wine. What is that really talking about? Is this really a promise for blessing, abundance? Or is this health and wealth gospel? Has our mission changed on this podcast?
It has not.
Are we heretics?
No. I mean, you might be, but I won't go that route.
I obviously am more in tune with the things of God than others.
Amen. I mean, we all know.
Wait, was that you?
I think that might have been. So, no, this is not health, wealth, that God's primary desire for you is to be healthy and wealthy. That if you just honor Him and do what you're supposed to do, you're not going to get cancer, and no one you love is ever going to die, and you're never going to struggle with issues of poverty. That is not the biblical message. Think of how offensive that would come across to a faithful believer in a developing nation. I've shaken hands with countless Christians and pastors even in these developing nations where I make more money in a month than they make in their entire lifetime. We live in different worlds. Mm-hmm. So does that mean I'm a better Christian and more faithful to God because I have more money than they do? No, it means I'm an American. That's all that means. That I was born in a different environment, not that I have a better relationship with the Lord. But at the same time, without the abuses of that teaching, the scriptures are quite clear. When you honor God with your wealth, he blesses it. Mm-hmm. Because that's true in every area of life. When you honor God in your marriage, he blesses your marriage.
Yeah.
When you honor him with your time, he blesses your time. When you honor him with your job, he's blessing things at your job. Why can't that be true of money too? That's mm-hmm. not our motivation, but I'll be honest with you, I would really like to have God's blessing on my financial life rather than his cursing on my financial life. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I want to honor him in faithfulness, in obedience to his commands, acknowledging that's a better way to live.
Yeah.
So case in point, let's say someone comes in for some financial counseling, and this happens fairly regularly.
Yeah.
We get to meet with folks who have made some mistakes, or they just need some practical help because really no one taught them this, because these are learned skills, and I can relate to that growing up as well. And we walk through budgeting and living below your means, again spending less than you make. Being generous and freeing up resources to do that. If you do those things, you'll have more money than you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
It will feel like you have this financial windfall. You didn't. You're just not overspending the money God has given you.
Yeah.
You're just being faithful with what's always been there. You were just wasting it before. So there's a real sense in which these blessings happen just because this is common sense, wise living.
Yeah. Yeah, I've started to tell people too that, and come to the conclusion that budgeting is worship.
Absolutely.
So when we have these discussions about spending, living within your means, giving, saving, making a budget, let's just be honest. Only a few weirdos love making a budget.
You're one of them.
I'm one of them. I love my spreadsheets and all of my stuff. It's really fun. And I've loved that since high school, but that's not the norm, and I recognize that. But to go, so budgeting. Now I said I like budgeting. I don't always like sticking to my budget.
Well, that's different than making
hard.
one. Making one's the first step.
Yeah, but doing that, I mean, that's what worship looks like in how we would define worship in other areas of your life. It's intentionality. It's sacrificial. It's saying, God, this matters to God, so therefore this matters to me. And so in regards to money, I am going to decide and prayerfully decide, as 2 Corinthians 9 says, I'm going to purpose in my heart what generosity looks like. And I'm going to do that with all of my finances so I can live within my means, because I'm going to give an account to the Lord, because it's his. It's his money. And so this is an act of worship and surrender to the God who owns it all and owns me and has given me this to provide for me. So that's an act of worship, and I think we need to view it that way. Mm-hmm. When you do, I think there are some practical things you need to do. It's okay. It's good to ask for help with budgeting if that's not your forte. Mm-hmm. But things start to kind of fall into place, and it does get easier when you view it as this is how I express my love for the Lord. Mm-hmm. So what does? Let me ask you this question: So if there's this promise of blessing and abundance, and that's highly practical if you kind of follow some steps, but also the reality that God does bless this life of surrender to him. And blessing doesn't always look like a financial windfall or a extra, or it doesn't always look how we would define blessing from a worldly standpoint, but sometimes it does. Yeah. And what is what is it there for? What is that blessing? What's the purpose of it?
I think the Lord is doing a few things with that. I think He is providing needs for sure. I've been the recipient, I know you have as well, over the years, of an unexpected financial blessing. I've walked out to the mailbox to open up an unmarked envelope that has an anonymous check to me or my family in it. That, hey, this is, God has prompted someone to bless us, and sometimes that was a critical need. Sometimes it wasn't. That was just a wonderful extra. Whether it's coming at Christmas time or a trip or something along those lines, because we can't forget that 1 Timothy 6 says that our Father has given us everything that we have for our enjoyment.
Yeah.
So God can bless with this abundance for the sake of enjoyment. That's not wrong or sinful. Good dads do that.
Yeah.
They want to have their kids experience joy, and with that comes a price tag for whatever it is he's doing. So he can provide. He's doing it for enjoyment. He's doing it to prove that he's true to his word. That if you honor him, he does do stuff with that.
Yep.
So here's stuff with that, because now that you've proven you're faithful with X number of dollars, I'm not going to give you more than X number of dollars. So keep it up. Keep doing all of it, which is 2 Corinthians 9.
Yeah.
That you'll be made rich in every way for the sake of meeting others' needs, for the sake of ongoing generosity. He gives more so that we can give more.
Yeah. Yeah, he says so that you will have, so that in everything at every time, having every sufficiency, you may have an abundance for every good deed.
For every good deed.
So again, the focus is on loving God and loving others. Yeah. And then also enjoying what he's given.
Yeah, because it's
part of our joy.
I think the mistake that people make when it comes to talking about money and things like that is be out of the health wealth thing, people overcorrect, and because we are in a context of abundant wealth in the West, in America in particular, all of that the answer then for Christians is poverty. So we should take on these voluntary roles of poverty, which means if I'm a Christian, I can't have a nice house, I can't drive a dependable car, I can't upgrade from this TV to that TV, I can't take a vacation, whatever it might be, and it becomes almost this false badge of humility.
Yeah.
That, I don't get into greed. Poverty is not the answer to greed. Generosity is the answer to greed.
Yeah.
That's how we fight against the sinful temptations of money, is we give it away. That shows it holds no power over us. So if you want to defeat the power of money in your life, give it away. And you render it completely powerless.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Now, we don't have time today to talk about tithing.
Right.
But sacrificial giving is the New Testament standard. And, I would argue that, a lot of times tithe literally means tenth. It's 10%. And so I think the question that a lot of Christians have is, should I give? Do I have to give 10%? What do I give? And the New Testament doesn't set a standard on that. Right. Because sacrificial giving, generosity, which again serves God's purposes and changes us, and loosens money's grip that it has on our hearts, is the answer. And 10%, knowing what we know and what Christ has done for us, we shouldn't be satisfied with, well, if I'll just give this, what's the minimum amount I can give the Lord? Right. That's not the heart. And another thing, just to kind of close this with this too, just to kind of show that this matters, is that I've seen this a lot through the years. I've had questions like, is it okay to just give my time? Because I think a lot of people are we're stuck financially. I think there's a lot of people that want to give, they just don't know how. There is hope. If you're in a hole, if you're in a pit financially, you can get out.
Yeah, stop digging.
I'm a testimony
first,
to that.
Stop digging.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
And you can get out of this with the Lord's help. But the answer isn't, well, I'll just give my time.
Right.
The answer is still be generous. And giving your time is great.
Absolutely, be generous with your time, of course.
But you can't ignore that the Bible talks about money so much, and that it matters to the Lord.
Absolutely.
So I think I hope you have a few takeaways from that. Money matters.
It does.
Money matters to the Lord.
It does.
Well, thank you, Ian. It's been a joy to have this discussion with you. Thank you, dear listener. And we'll see you for the next episode of Everyday Wisdom.